Nobody indeed. What is good? Welcome into Driving the Line, the Overs College Baseball Week 11 edition. My name is Alan Bell. We got a fantastic show lined up for you today. Now, what are we talking about? Like we said, Week 11 college baseball. So we have 4 weekends left of the regular season in college baseball. We're going to make the best of it and get these 4 weekends in. Now, what do we have for this weekend? It's good to see everybody. Say hello in the chat. Now, this is what we have coming up. Number 10, Virginia at Pittsburgh. Texas State at number 9, Coastal Carolina. Excuse me. Number 12, West Virginia at Cincinnati. Number 2, North Carolina at Duke. Number 13, Alabama at Tennessee. Number 22, Boston College at Notre Dame. Number 7, Texas A&M at number 21, Florida. LSU at number 15, Mississippi State. 20th ranked Nebraska at Illinois. 14th ranked Oklahoma. Number 11, Auburn. Number 4, Texas at Vanderbilt. Number 16, Kansas at Kansas State. Good rivalry there. Wake Forest at number 3, Georgia Tech. Number 5, Georgia at 17, Ole Miss. 18th ranked Southern Miss at South Alabama. 24th ranked Arkansas at Missouri. Hawaii at 6th ranked Oregon State. 8th ranked Florida State at Stanford. Sacramento State at number 1, UCLA. Penn State at number 19, Oregon. Baylor at number 25, Arizona State. And Purdue at number 23, Southern California. That's what we have for this weekend. Now, jumping into our stats, team leaderboards. What do we need to know? All right, home runs. Here are your teams. All right, if you like to follow teams that mash bombs, playing overs, team totals, all of that, these are your teams right here. Georgia leads the country with 116 home runs on the year. Oklahoma State coming in number 2 with 89. Vanderbilt, number 3, tied with Mercer there with 87. And then number 5, Georgia Tech, 82 home runs on the year. Now we look at team runs, Georgia Tech and Georgia. Look at this, man. Georgia Tech, 431 runs on the year. Georgia, 401. State of Georgia continues to rake. Kansas State, 381 runs. Texas Tech, 381 runs. And then Mercer, 378. Look what home runs will do for you. So if you're looking at teams coming up this weekend, teams that are mashing, teams that put up a lot of runs, here you go right here. Now, the opposite side, where do we look here? Pitching. LSU leads the country with 508 team strikeouts of the year. Wake Forest, 477. Cal Baptist, 475. Ole Miss, 474. Mississippi State, 466. You look at team ERAs. UC Santa Barbara, 3.02. UCLA, 3.13. My goodness. With their run production, too, that is dangerous. Auburn, 3.30. Team ERA. Oregon State comes in number 4 with 3.32 ERA. And Mississippi State, 3.39. Look at Mississippi State pitching. All right, so what are your takeaways here? Again, LSU, they get a lot of strikeouts, man. Their season's all over the place, but they get a lot of strikeouts. They started off well, too. Wake Forest pitching, doing well. Look at Cal Baptist, man, hanging up in there. Ole Miss and Mississippi State, state of Mississippi showing out right now. Then same deal with team ERAs. Look to the West Coast, but Auburn and Mississippi State there in the top 5. Good to see that there for any Auburn and Mississippi State fans. All right. Coming in hot. So we use this to kind of see how we did last weekend with teams, that we're betting on if we were, but teams that are coming in hot, man, playing well, and it continues. So UCLA, look, they went 3-1 and almost didn't list them. That's how dominant UCLA is. They're taking on Sacramento State. All right, here's the problem. We're not going to be able to bet UCLA any this weekend. North Carolina went 3-1, handled 2 games out of 3 against Georgia Tech. They're at Duke this weekend. We'll definitely be able to bet them. Number 5, Georgia. A huge weekend that they had, went 3-1. They'll be at 17th ranked Ole Miss this weekend. 8th ranked Florida State. They went 4-0 last week at Stanford. And then number 7, Texas A&M. They went 4-0 as well. They'll be at number 21, Florida. So if you are a bettor, somebody that looks and says, you know what, I like teams that are playing well, here you go. And quite frankly, look, the top of this list, it hasn't changed too terribly much all year. Now, it's weird seeing Georgia Tech on the bounce back here. What do we look at this? So we want to identify teams, didn't have a good weekend, all right? But we look at it, same thing we do with teams that are playing well. We say, okay, this is a sport that's built kind of ping pong, right? Bad weekend. You can turn that around real quick. Georgia Tech going to be a perfect example. What did they do? They went 2-2 last week. They were at home against Wake Forest, a good Wake Forest team, but they're at home, and I would expect Georgia Tech to get on it. Number 13, Alabama, went 2-2. Again, another weekend, not great. They're at Tennessee. Tennessee's all over the place, too. So we're going to see. If Alabama's for real, it's going to be a big weekend for them. You'll definitely be able to bet it. Number 23, Southern California. All right. Tough weekend here. Now, I don't want to harp on USC too terribly much. I know they took a hit in the rankings, dropping down to 23rd, and I know that it hasn't been, quote unquote, great in terms of what we saw at the beginning of the season. It's all right. The Southern Cal team is tired. Now, we're going to talk about them more here in a second. I worry about their run production, the same thing that we've talked about, but they have excellent pitching. And 2 weekends ago, I mean, they swept Iowa, right? So we're not like out on USC, but there are some red flags that come up, right? And they're not the only team. They'll be at home against Purdue. Be honest with you. Look, if you're looking for a bounce back team, that's probably USC this weekend. All lines up, man. Purdue, they'll give up some runs, right? So that'll work out for Southern Cal. Southern Cal's pitching. It's a good weekend to do it here. So, yeah, keep an eye on them. Circle USC. They'll be a team that we're going to bet on this weekend. Well, we're gonna see, right? They might find themselves right back on this list, but we're gonna circle them, keep an eye there. I wouldn't be surprised to see them bounce back strong. Arkansas 2-2. Again, this Arkansas team, they're fighting, man. It's not perfect by any means, but they'll be at Missouri this weekend. Again, on the road, but Arkansas. This is a good weekend to get right. This would be a good weekend to go and sweep Missouri on the road. Now, that's asking a lot, but 2 out of 3, Arkansas kind of needs it. So they're definitely a team to circle. We'll be able to bet them all weekend long. All right, Florida 1-3. What do we do with Florida? They're all over the place. The problem with Florida is this. I can't bet on Florida, and I can't bet against Florida. They're too good. They went 1-3. All right, they're at home against number 7 Texas A&M. Texas A&M is absolutely raking people right now. Raking, right? At the plate, they are just raking left and right, dude. So you're going to have to get your run production up. Yeah, Florida. There are red flags all around this team. Now they're good. That's the problem. Is that Florida is really good baseball team, but it seems like which direction is the wind blowing this weekend, right? All right, under the radar series that we are going to pay attention to this weekend. NC State 26-14 on the year at Virginia Tech 20-19 on the season. NC State definitely in the mode of collecting wins and as many as humanly possible. All right, Virginia Tech, a team that is also dangerous. They score 7 runs a game. They give up 7 runs a game. They are a firecracker, man. But if you're looking for NC State to have themselves a weekend, could find it here. Clemson at Louisville. Clemson 26-16 on the year. Louisville 23-18. This is a big weekend for Clemson. Big weekend. Need to get 2 out of 3. You got to win this series. All right, Clemson, you're right there. You got to win this. This is a series where if you're supposed to be in the postseason, you earn it. You know what I mean? 2 out of 3. So circle this one here. South Florida at East Carolina. South Florida 28-12 on the year. East Carolina 25-16. So again, 2 teams searching for dubs, right? Searching for dubs. 1 game at a time, not to go coach cliche on it, but you're going to get a good series there. UCF at Utah. All right. So with this one, you're going to get a couple things. Number one, you're going to get a good series. Look at Utah, 21-15. From how it started, nice job. All right, UCF, 22-15. All right, battling. These teams generally are a few games behind some of the others. A lot of teams have played 41, 42, 43 games. You see Utah there with 36, right? So that tends to happen when you play West Coast early start of the season. February, it's tough to get games in. Sometimes they get postponed. But you have 2 really good, well, not really good, but 2 good teams. We'll be able to bet that. And the number 2 part of it is that runs. You're going to get runs all over the board here. Utah's a launch pad right now. All right, Cal State Fullerton at UC Santa Barbara. Cal State Fullerton 19-20 on the year, all right? So game below 500. but they're playing well comparatively to what they, started with. UC Santa Barbara, okay. We like them. They're a team we've been following all year long, and they're playing good ball. It's tight margin games. They don't score a lot. They don't give up a lot. A lot of 9.5 totals, right? 8.5s as well. But yeah, UC Santa Barbara, circle them because you're going to get decent prices because Cal State Photo is playing pretty good. And I mean, obviously, there's risk that involved. I'm not saying that Santa Barbara is just going to sweep because they're supposed to. But yeah, Santa Barbara could be a team definitely you want to keep an eye on for this weekend. All right, so the rotation. Let me pull this up full screen. And for anyone new, what we do with this is we track 10 teams. There are 2 slides of this. All right. And we've kept track of these same teams all season long. And the reason that we do it is that this is a sport that's absolutely chaotic. The sports books can be chaotic. It's hard to find games. Like, it's just all over the board, right? So we invented this a couple years ago of, all right, every weekend, it doesn't mean that we're betting these teams. Like, that doesn't mean that at all. Price obviously is going to matter, situation, etc. Keep going down the list. But we could start here with these teams, and we generally do. And when you look at these records, they've held up, right? So what we do also, and I'll explain it, is we go through these teams, runs per game allowed. And we get a track of, all right, they trending up, they trending down. We like them. Be careful. Yeah. All right, so let's jump into it. UCLA, 37-3 on the year. What are they, 21-0 in the Big Ten? I mean, this team's a wagon. We're not going to be able to bet them this weekend against Sacramento State. The books are not going to give you that. And if they do, it'd be minus 2,000. But UCLA averaging 8.7 runs per game, 3.2 allowed. I mean, what is that, 5.5 run difference per game? That's amazing. 3-1. That's the result you're going to get, right? You look at this like an equation going left or right. Yeah. Those numbers will do it for you. All right. So Mississippi State, 31-10 on the year, 8.5 runs per game that they've scored this season, allowing 3.6, went 4-0. Again, these numbers continue to go with these teams. Georgia Tech. Now, here we go. Ran into a problem here. They ran into the team below them. So this happens as well when we have a rotation team playing a rotation team. Brother versus brother, right? So Georgia Tech, North Carolina played last weekend. North Carolina took 2 of 3. Georgia Tech, 33-7 on the year, 10.7 runs per game. That dropped from 11.2, 4.4 runs per game allowed. So again, after a weekend where they got beaten up a little bit, they're still averaging 10.7 runs per game and only allowing 4.4. So 6.3 run difference per game average. Solid, right? But again, Wake Forest, they're good, and they could absolutely use it. So we're going to see with Georgia Tech here. But again, they had a bad weekend. And North Carolina, 34-7-1. All right. It's going to happen against a team like that. North Carolina's won a lot of games, man. 8.2 runs per game this season. That was a big weekend for North Carolina, man. That was a big weekend. 3.9. I mean, look at their numbers, man. Solid. North Carolina gets the job done pitching. We talk about them scoring runs. Their pitchers do not get enough love, and they do get love, and it's still not enough. North Carolina is a fantastic baseball team. Through 3-1, definitely a team to circle. Virginia, 28-13, 8.5 runs per game, 5.6 runs per game allowed. So this has been the deal with Virginia. That runs per game allowed is creeping up. All right, 5.6 is you give it up 5 to 6 runs a game. Now, the good thing is that you're scoring 8.5 on average. So your margins there, 3 runs, solid. Cannot complain with that whatsoever. But once you start to get margins that are 3, 2, 1 run, buddy, you're playing with fire. And Virginia is they've won 28 games. I mean, we cannot complain about them. That said, though, they can get into spots where you got to be careful with them. So we'll keep an eye on Virginia. But again, they've been winning games, Hoss. All right, USC, 31-11 on the year. They went 0-4 last week. Bad week, Everybody has them. Now, the question is, how do they bounce back? So let's take a look at their numbers here. 6.6 runs per game on average, allowing 3.9. So that 3.9 is fantastic. It's in the threes, man. But you got to score some runs too. And I'm going to say the same thing about Southern Miss, even more. Right below them. Look at their runs per game. We got a little problem. All right. So, anyways, USC bound to have a week like that. They're at home this weekend. I would not be surprised to see USC right back on track. Southern Miss, 29-12. 5.9 runs per game on average. 4.0 runs per game allowed. 4.0 runs per game allowed is a fantastic number. We just talked about it with USC at 3.9. That's tremendous. But 5.9 runs per game. So 6. You're winning on average. You've won 6-4. I'm with it. And look, they went 4-0 last week. But we're going to have to be careful because they're going to, excuse me, it's going to bite us. Need to get that run production up. Sorry. All right, Florida State, 29-11. They went 4-0 last week. Great week for Florida State. 7.4 runs per game allowed, 4.2. Or I'm sorry, 7.4 runs per game scored, 4.2 runs per game allowed. Again, look, I like where this Florida State team is. I like the build of this team. They're tough. I got a feeling they're about to get some health back too. Watch out for this Florida State team. Watch out, because there was a concern that they might fall off a little bit, and they did not. In fact, they might have gotten stronger. So all in on this Florida State team. They're going to be something to watch out for. All right, Clemson, 26-16. 6.6 runs per game scored, 4.6 runs per game allowed. So a 2-run buffer on average per game. That's come to what we've come to expect. And the results show it. Look, I'm not saying it negatively. Clemson's won 26 games. They are who they are. They're generally a good bet. But there's a flaw with runs at times. So just be careful. But again, we trust Clemson. But once you start seeing 16 losses, like that number adds up, man. And way we get down on 2-leg parlays, like that's the deal. Is like you've got to find these risk spots. And I'm not saying it's like I've got the answer. That's why we're here. But yeah, Clemson, we've got to keep an eye on them because we could blind bet them and get ourselves in trouble. All right, Auburn, another great week with 3-1, 28-12 on the year, 6.9 runs per game scored, 3.6 runs per game allowed. Auburn, top 3 pitching staff in the country overall. And I say that positively, meaning it's not just, one Friday ace that's dominating the stats, right? Like this team can throw. Getting their runs to about 7 per game. That's good, man. 3.5. I would still like more out of Auburn, but we can't be picky, right? Like not everybody can be perfect. This Auburn team is good, and they fight. They're a really good 2 out of 3 team on a weekend. You know what I mean? You'll have the weekend where they go 1-2, but not much. If you look at this as, I didn't want to say volume better, but you look it over and say, yeah, I'm interested in winning the weekend. I might have a lot of bets on Friday, might not on Saturday, might have whatever, however it works out. Auburn's one of those teams you're like, yeah, they're playing 3. I'll bet them 3 times that they should win 2. Again, not saying that that's the strategy, but good team, man. Good team. Just got to get some runs. Anytime you get in the 6s, not that then I don't want to complain that that's horrible because it's baseball. And if you're averaging 6 runs plus a game, that's good. But college baseball, man, it just gets risky. So, all right, that's what we got. There you go. That's week 11. All right. It's going to be a great weekend. We got time on this. Again, we're recording this live on Wednesday, April 22nd. So if you're watching this Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, anytime of the weekend, there you go. All right. We live tomorrow. Wherever you're watching this, we're live every day, 7 days a week, 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. Central here at Driving the Line. So till then, everybody, best of luck. Let's cash these tickets, and we will see you soon. Thanks.
Who's got it better than us?